our speaker is a past Job Club member and always a Job Club friend. Many of you know him through Product Camp because he frequently is an attendee there. Ahmed Zouhair. Ahmed Zouhair is the founder and CEO of PMTC, also an author, and all of you are going to have access to his lovely book that I'll tell you about, and he is a consultant. The title of his presentation is Project Managing Your Job Search. As a former project management training consultant and small business owner and author, he has spent the last 30 years in the project management industry with more than 20 organizations, including Fortune 500 companies as well as startups. He has a very extensive biography listed in the newsletter. He is fluent in 3 languages, English, French, and Arabic, and with 3 degrees, including a doctorate in business administration. He is a serial entrepreneur and seasoned project, product, and program management consultant. Ahmed Zouhair knows the value of hard work. He also understands what it takes to build an enterprise from scratch. While today his international roster of clients includes companies and individuals from education, IT, telecommunications, digital security, oil and gas, finance and banking, and nonprofit sectors, his career did not start out that way. His first job after college, listen up, Eric, involved collecting mud samples during 12-hour shifts on an oil and gas rig. Such tedious work in a harsh environment taught him patience and how to think on his feet when things go wrong. He also learned to interact with many different types of people, skills he would later refine as a volunteer business coach and workshop presenter for SCORE, the Service Corps of Retired Executives. His best practices throughout his career have been captured in his recent book entitled Demystifying Project Management in Plain English for Startups. His overall life mission is to inspire and help people reach their full potential in whatever capacity. And that is what brings him here. Let's give a warm Launchpad welcome to Ahmed Zouhair.
Thank you guys. So I just want to share with you that Eric and Diane, I would highly recommend that you volunteer with Shannon, and here is why. I know a couple of my friends, they volunteer 4 or 5 years ago, and they end up working with one of them with Dell, and the other one with an agency really that was paying high-paying job as a project manager. Just take advantage when you have an opportunity. So highly recommend that. Another thing you want to do, Diane, the challenge constraint, which means that sometimes when you apply, for example, ACC, I applied for Austin Community College to teach their project management, and I spoke to the program coordinator. I remember his name is Bob, and he said, sorry, we don't have anything. And I said, who's running this program? And I told me, well, Bob Futrell. And I said, can I talk to Bob? He said, sure. So I went to Bob. I said, hey, I want to work with you. What do I need to do? And he said, well, tell me more about yourself. I said, well, I was working with UT Professional Development Center, and they don't have any more opening. And he said, I used to work there too. Who is working now? Jennifer. Oh, I know Jennifer. We started talking, and I got a job right away. So don't take no for an answer. In other words, if there are constraints set up by the school district, community, state agencies, be resilient, take advantage. Same thing with Central Texas College in Killeen. What I found out when I applied for positions through HR, a lot of community colleges or university, they're so difficult. It's really hard to get in. What I did, I sent a proposal to the director of continuing education in Killeen, and I said, hey, what do I need to propose a class for you to teach project management certification? She said, well, fill out the proposal and let's have a meeting. The rest is history. That was 2013. The program is still running. I had a couple of my students teaching the class since I left. 3, 4, 5 years ago. So just be resilient and follow through. That's all I have to say. Kathy, thank you so much for the nicest introduction. I'm so flattered. This really, the session is going to be very interactive, and hopefully I'll make sure that you get a lot of information. So what Kathy was saying about me, it was a lot of struggle because you grow. You're like a product, a service, yourself. You're like the CEO of you. In other words, you keep growing, and you want to improve. Continuing education, webinar like this one, networking, and so many other factors. So what I've done, because I had mentors and I spoke to a lot of people and said, well, here is what you need to do. I said, I'm tired of consulting. Every time I consult for a company, they want to convert you to full-time, but I don't want to be full-time. I want to keep jumping from one company, from one project to another one. And then I said, well, what about speaking? What about writing a book? So you create this package, if you will, and a workshop presenter with SCORE as a volunteer, which I learned so much because you coach, business coach, small business, startups, entrepreneurs in the city of Austin, and it's a huge business. So just saying about me, but I love running and yoga, comedy. It's just I want to improve my speaking, so I joined this script writing comedy, and it was amazing. So in other words, if you want to be a speaker, it's not just about the content, it's also about the delivery, and it's about the audience, the connection. So be flexible, be adaptable, keep growing. That's what I'm trying to say. The purpose of this session is really to teaches you 4 parts, and I'll be talking about, really the purpose. You already covered this one, Kathy, so I'll jump right in. This is really one of my favorite quotes. Just get started. Stop thinking. Get started. Start swinging. I promise you by the end of this session, I'll give you a lot of resources. That is really one of the things I was, like what Kathy was saying, I was one of you sitting there in 2008 and maybe 2013, because I got laid off maybe 6 times. I got fired maybe once. So join the club, challenge. There are a lot of challenges, but I'll give you resources to help you hopefully be successful and get a job, whatever you're looking for. I also will cover some tools that you might use for your job search. And by the end, we'll do an application of what we learned. Really, it's all about application. So here is the session. We'll talk about the purpose. What is your why? What is your belief? Why you want to find a job? What kind of job you want to find? Really, that's really simple. You got to ask this question. Spend a lot of time thinking. And we're going to talk about, your SWOT analysis, your strength, weaknesses, opportunity, and threats. And we're going to talk about your how, which is your strategy. How are you going to do it? What are the steps? What is your plan? What is your framework? Which we're going to talk about the 3 Ps: prepare, plan, and perform. You already know that. You just transparently do that and without thinking. But I want you to standardize this framework and put it down, write it down, and apply it every single day with goals, tangible goals, and so forth. And what are the results? What are the outcomes? What do you are now? What do you want to be tomorrow? And your vision, mission, goals, and values, and guiding principles. And we're going to do the application. So here is my question to you. You can put this response in the chat. What are some of the top reasons why a project failed? And it doesn't matter what kind of project. And by the way, all of you in this session are project managers. Write down in the chat, what are some of the reasons why project fail? And Paul or Shannon, call out some of the reasons why project fail.
Well, I'm writing myself, so I'm just going to say it.
I'm gonna,
Lack of clarity and communication between the team and PM, between the PM and the stakeholder, and between the stakeholder and the team in general.
here's
Beautiful.
another one, lack of communication about what problems you're actually trying to solve, lack of clear goals. Another lack of planning.
What kind of job you're trying to find. You got to have clarity. You got to communicate. You got to brand your story about what jobs you're looking for. What is the market? What is the industry? And what is your tribe? What are you trying to accomplish? What problem you're going to solve? Which opportunity you're going to try to find? You're trying to create a meaning, right? What is that? So leadership, planning, communication, and so
Okay,
forth.
I've got one.
Go ahead.
Yeah, what I found, I've done a lot of projects in sales performance management, and either unclear requirements or changing requirements is one of the worst.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, poor requirements and, adequate, timeline. Sometimes you got sponsors, they want something done yesterday. So sometimes it's, the timeline, and you have to work a lot of overtime. You're going to have to run out of money. So it's going to affect your budget, and it's going to create some concerns, affect the team morale, the communication, conflict, problem solving, and so many other factors just keep building up, right? Retention, people would leave the job because it's stressful, life balance, and so many things. Right? So you got it. So this is one of the Standish Group chaos report that was done 2020. And this chaos report is really done throughout 5 years. Imagine, and it's done over 50,000 in-depth project profile for duration of 5 years. So what they found out is the statistics, some of the project, why the project failed or challenged. Failed means just basically that the project was never finished on time, or over budget, or didn't meet the customer requirement, or challenge maybe was put on hold or was canceled, or maybe was done but it's never been used by the customers. It was too late. So that's one of the things. But what the chaos report found out, the criteria that you got to remember that you should apply for your job is basically not being in the right place, right environment. Another thing is not having a great team or a good sponsor with leadership. There is no good leadership that would support, mentor, and guide this project from start to finish. Not only financially, morally, and so many other factors apply. And last, being flexible, being adaptable. You're going to hear agile, where there is you got to be agile, and we'll talk about agile alliance, Scrum Alliance, and so many other chapters that helps you with this. So I don't know if you heard this book, Ikigai, which really means in Japanese is mean like, reason for being. In French is la raison d'être, in other words, it covers 4 pieces, and I highly recommend you get this book. It really helped me out. So all of us as a job seeker, or as people who want to improve, who want to grow our product and services, ourselves. Remember, you are the product manager of you. You are the CEO of yourself. So what are you good at? Write this down and write this list. Another thing you want to think about, what do you love doing? Write it down. And, what the world needs. Unfortunately, the world's needs a lot of technology, a lot of AI, a lot of automation, self-driving cars. But what about being creative, being innovative, being critical thinking, and so forth? And last is what do you want to do to get paid for? So if you think about it, you got to have the balance for being, you got to have the balance. Unfortunately, you got to have the balance between the four. And that's really what happened. And that's why we're going to have to be in that middle, which is, the happy medium to balance between these four elements so you can be successful. Now, well, let's think about it. Let's get started. Part one of really the purpose. What is your purpose? So help me out. Think about why you're looking for a job. Ask yourself that and brainstorm with, maybe have a couple of friend accountability members that you can meet every week, called the mastermind or accountability team, and just do checkpoint, like, what do you think about this job? What do you think about this objective, this thing? And just keep questioning so you can identify exactly what are you looking for. I had the same problem. That's why I had a brand person to write my brand book. And I kept digging and digging. And I finally found, wow, I think I want to help small businesses. I want to help startup and entrepreneurs, because they're really the hardworking people. They are really stimulate the economy, and they work hard and they create jobs. So that's really what I spend a lot of time thinking. And I'm going to share with you this story. You might already heard it. So there was three handyman or three people working in a construction project. And one of them, they were asked, what are you guys doing? So the first one said, oh, I'm just breaking stone so I can get paid. And the second one said, oh, I'm building the wall so I can feed my family. And the third one said, oh, I'm building the house of God. I mean, and so what do you think the difference between the work of these three people, these three men, these three construction people? Statistically speaking, everything being equal, it's the same brick, the same job, the same pay, the same place, the same time. But the only difference is the first one has a job, the second one has a career, and the third one has a purpose. He's a calling bigger than himself. So think about it sometimes, what are you looking for? Which takes us to the vision, mission, goals, and guiding principle. And vision is really your what do you want to be in 5 years? Maybe I want to be a consultant, program manager, project manager for this company that have a life balance, that people that are happy working for, a mission. How are you going to do it? What are the steps that needs to be done? And goals are really tangible goals that you need to do. So, for example, your tangible goals for finding a job. We're going to talk about the tangible goals. Maybe, what are your target companies? Maybe 5, 10 of them that you're going to target, so you can do market research on them, understand their industries, do a gap analysis using SWOT analysis about your strength, weaknesses, opportunity, and threat, and write three main goals and track them in a schedule. It could be 2 weeks and 3 weeks based on speed, based on time, and so forth. And guiding principle is the values, the ethos, being ethical. These personal and professional and social values interact. You got to be good, kind, supportive, and helpful. Again, a vision is someday I'm going to be a program manager, maybe a program director. My mission is what do I need to do every day? The goals is to-do list. And the guiding principle is being ethical and being, morally and ethically, working hard and with good intentions, you're going to get there, right? But here is the thing. When you're looking for a job, you're wearing so many hats because you got so many things that are personal, that are professional, that are required by your society, and so many other things. So the key here is we're going to talk about being prioritizing so you can be more productive, where you can have good performance. In other words, a lot of jobs will require you to have too many certifications. be aware there are so many certifications. You don't want to be wrapped around these many certifications. Take the certifications that's going to help you. And in fact, I'll have a bigger advice than this. A lot of companies, they really want to see you. They want to talk to you. And when they find out you don't have a certification, you can always say, I'm pursuing a certification, in Scrum Alliance, with Scrum Alliance, like to be a Scrum Master or to be a product manager, product owner, or to be a project manager or to be a software developer, whatever it is. If they like you, if they see that you have the willingness to learn, they really forget to ask you about certifications. And once you get with them, then they may help you and sponsor you to go take a certification. But be aware, pick the certification that's aligned with your job so you can work toward growth and improving your skill set so you can become more valuable for your organization. Another thing is too many plans, because have a plan A and maybe a backup plans, because plans never plans, there are always changes. So have plan B with the changes, with adjustment to any changes that you might have. But just be aware that sometimes plans, can be challenged, right? So be aware of that, have a good solid plan. And if you come to a fork in the road, take it. Don't hesitate, take it. Because at the end of the day, decisions, priorities, and options, you'll figure them out in the course of your road, right? So take them and follow through. And like I said, a lot of people, they focus on the job, the career. Think bigger. Think about the accomplishment, the purpose that company does. It's a tribe. We're going to talk about brand and marketing. When you talk about purpose focused, like I think to say this book talk about, is basically you create more dialogue, more conversation with maybe your manager, because talking about the product and service, it gets sold. But what are you accomplishing, like a Launchpad, for example? Launchpad, their purpose, their mission is bigger than what they do. It's huge, and it's been running for many, many years, and it's still gonna run. It's the purpose that create really great conversations, because at the end of the day, you can run surveys and you get 5 stars, but really the survey is about your product or service or your performance, personal performance. They don't mean anything. It's the purpose. Launchpad, really highly believe that you guys done a wonderful job. I've met so many great people through Launchpad and still do. That's why I'm back. And just want to see that with Launchpad launched, I think you can correct me if I'm wrong, Kathy or Shannon, 2006. And it's been running to today. Helped so many people, thousands of people transition to a better opportunity to serve the community. And that is a great purpose. That is a great vision, mission, goals, and guiding principles. Think about that. Now, we take you to your brand. Your brand is, Eric, if you're not here, what would people say about you? Well, Eric is a great project manager. He's a great software developer. He just got his degree. He's very reliable. He's very loyal. He go get the job done. Same thing with you, Diane. I mean, she's been working in education. She's got a lot of experience. She's hardworking. She helped thousands of students and so many. Write that story. That's your brand. If you're not here, Diane or Eric, write that story. And that's gonna go further. Statistically speaking, so a lot of jobs, this is an article, I'll be happy to share it with you, Shannon and Kathy. It just talked about that a lot of recruiters, and Miles, you can agree with this, use social media to recruit, 87%. And same thing here. And with that, any questions on part 1, the purpose? No questions. That's a good sign, no?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
actually, I've got two questions. One,
Let's go.
I'd like to see that last slide again. And two, the title of that Japanese book, I missed it.
I'd be happy to give you that. It's called
Thank you.
Ikigai. And this article, I'll send it to you because it just shows that a lot of recruiters traditionally, I'll give you an example. 2000, I graduated in 1993 as a petroleum engineer, and I looked for a job. Guess how? Take a guess. There was no internet then. Looked a job using Houston Chronicle newspaper because back then, Austin, there was no jobs. When University of Texas shuts down, the whole city is down. So I had to send my resume to Houston Chronicle, and that's how I found my first job as a mud logger, catching mud samples and working on offshore rigs. So it was a nice story. Today, you can technically get a job in less than a minute, get an interview, through social media. If you have, we're going to talk about your brand is basically your artifact, which is your resume, your cover letter, your references, your brand, your objective, your positioning statement, your exit statement should align with your social media platforms, whatever you use, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and it should send the same message, a project manager, professional, and so forth, So that's that's really what this slide is all about. So I hope I answered your question. I'll be happy to share this article with you. Next, part 2. Like I said, part 2 is really talk about the strategy. And before I talk about strategy, is really take people, processes, and tools to get somewhere, right? In fact, you as the product manager of you, or think about you as an employee working for yourself, and what are the resources, what are the tools that you're going to be using? Launchpad is one of the tools, right? Your computer, your social media platforms, your network, your words of mouth, your meetups, all those are tools, are resources. And the process, how are you using these tools? Are you standardizing your process where you have a schedule Monday through Friday, and you make sure you take care of yourself on Saturday and Sunday, family and so forth, religion, political, culture, whatever it is. So make sure you align your people, processes, and tools. And really your strategy is what are the steps that you need to reach your purpose, if you think about it, right? And the step can use a framework that you already know. What are a lot of frameworks, like in project management, they have a different framework. In Agile, design, develop, build, and test and deploy. In ITIL, information technology library, you use like strategy, design, strategy, and you got design, and you got operation, and you got continuous improvement. And so, but it boils down to the same thing. You prepare, you plan, and you perform. Very simply, you already know that. We do that every single day. Let's say you're planning to move from Austin to Indianapolis, right? So what do? That's a mini project for Kathy. So you prepare. What do I need to do? I need to pack. I need to get a truck. I need to, it's a mini project. We do it without thinking about it. And Kathy, I'm sure you already have a project plan and you already executed because you're already there. So think about it, right? So prepare, plan, and perform. And we're going to talk about prepare. So I want everybody to take a few minutes to write down what do you need to prepare for your job search, or, go ahead and put it in chat. Let's call it out. Give you a second.
Need a resume.
Wonderful. And I have to say, be very careful with sending resume to people before they ask for it, because sometimes I had people did never ask me for a resume. I just said, let's talk. And the rest is history. Be careful. Don't just send out volunteer information. Here's my resume, here's that. You create more, just have a conversation, create that dialogue, that purpose. Well, I really like your organization because this is what you've done since you started till now. And this is what people are saying about you. These are the projects that you guys are doing and so many other things. And that manager is probably not going to ask you for anything. And that's really what I did when I went to Killeen, Central Texas College. She didn't ask me for that. She's like, let's just talk. Well, here is the class. I want to teach project management certification to people in transition. It's a military Fort Hood base. And part of the procedures, after she hired me, she said, oh, you need to fill out an application. Had I gone through the other process, the challenging constraint, I would never get that job. So think about it. So resume is one of them. A cover letter, maybe. But those are just standards for HR to just make sure that you follow the
They're putting
process.
lots of good things in there. Web access, researching the company, a plan for what you're looking for, put your story together, have an elevator pitch. There's lots of good stuff in here about what you need.
Very good. And once you do that, you put in a plan so you don't forget it, right? And that plan is really have, I want to find a job. And Kathy, you said a really good point. This is the good time to find a job because this is like the holiday spirit. A lot of companies are transitioning to fiscal year 2022. So they want to close this year budget. Be very aggressive. 2019, that's how I found a job through Apex System as a recruiting company in Austin. I got a gig with Dell. And the manager at that time is the director. He was leaving, but we didn't know. So he wants to get 2 FTE, full-time employee or consultant like us. He got us 2, and he wants to do it before he leaves his post. So it was November. We got the interviews. We got the job December. I started on December 19. And I was like, yeah, I want to start now. I don't want to wait till January. And he was happy with that. And he was good, cheerful. And in fact, a lot of people, they were like, and one of the questions I asked for during the interview, do you have any questions for us at the end? Because we just start talking about, and I said, what do you guys do for Christmas parties? I start laughing and like, created the dialogue, discussion that would fit, would connect with them. Oh, we really like this guy. Talk about what they do during the holiday and, be friendly, be sociable. We're going to talk about execute. Execute your plan is really, you close that deal. You got that interviews, you got that job offer, you close that deal. So most of you said that. So first of all, you want to research, do gap analysis about your job search. Like, in Austin, you guys are lucky to be in Austin because there is so many opportunities. There is so many companies are coming in, and it's growing. And back in the days, we couldn't find jobs. Today, I had to move to Dallas or Houston to find jobs. Now we're lucky. We have so many opportunities. Be out there, do an assessment, find out the requirement, certifications if there are any. We're going to talk about your CV, your objective, your positioning statement, the resources that are out there, including Launchpad and Leap of Success and so many other tools and resources that are available to you. Plan is really, again, put that down in a plan with steps. And it's not that complicated. It's not like a 60 pages plan. It could be 1 page with 3 bullets. And I'll tell you about that in a minute. And perform is execute that plan. Whatever it is, what are your outcome? What are your results? What are you now? What do you want to be? Your baseline, your metrics, your lessons learned. If I didn't get a job interview find out why. Have you done any, mock-up interview where you videotape yourself and find out? We found out that some of the candidates, that true story, that they could not find a job. And when we did the job interview, when they videoed themselves doing a job interview, they found out they never answered the question. They were talking about themselves and going on tangent, and they were not listening. And that really helped change the prospect of responding, be objective, not subjective. Objectively, yes, no, and answer directly the question, save time, and be aware and be nodding, yes, thank you, smiling and cheerful, positive. You create that. That is your purpose. That's how you work. So resources, we're going to talk about so many resources. And like I said, you are the product manager. You are the CEO of yourself. You have to think about what people think about you, what customers, what your friend, your colleague. Eric, if you got a professor or your friend or your classmate, they're going to go and say, oh, well, I know Eric. Those are customers. They can see you as a prospect for their companies. Target those first, friends, family, and foes, financials. How do you, what are you looking for? How you set yourself? Do you have enough money, enough budget, to sustain yourself the next 6 months, 3 months, and so forth, and process that you use to find a job. Again, that discipline, that schedule, that speed, 8 to 5, and so forth, and continuously learning and growing. It's a must. You have to be on the know, understand the market condition, the technology or industry that you're going to be in. Like Diane, your education. Eric, maybe software development, web development is a huge IT, information technology, software development, DevOps, security, and so many applies to your field. So brush up on those so you'll be in the know when you talk about your job position. Highly recommend, I don't know if we have time, but really, this is SWOT analysis. I'm sure you've seen this. It's not really that big deal. So write down your strength. What are you good at, Eric or Diane? I keep picking on you because I think I know your name now, and I'll be happy to help you guys out. So what are your strengths? Diane, you have extensive experience. Use that to your advantage. You helped so many kids be successful. That's your brand. That's your story. You're a great communicator. You write well, business writing. So many things you can add about yourself. Like me, great listener, great communicator, great negotiator. I'm an author now because I had to write a book. That's going to add more strength, more values, to me. This is what mentor told me. It's like, well, I want to be a speaker. Well, speak about what? Project manager. How much experience you had? Well, about 20 years, because I was trying to get away from project management, but really I keep coming back because really that's what I know how to do. And I've taught so many places, and that's really focus on your strength to cash cow and keep growing. What are your weaknesses? You don't like networking. You don't like, you're technical. You're not technical. Learn how to use digital. Everything is digital. Look at us. We're using, it took me about 2 minutes to get started. But before that, it used to take me 10 minutes because I didn't know that I need to understand how to use Zoom and how to, put it in presentation mode. Click on the clicker on presentation mode, go share your screen so you can move from slide 1 to 2 to 3 and 4. That's really technology. You got to understand digital. You got to understand, competitive, certifications. You might need some, brush up on learning new things is going to help you. Opportunities and threat is COVID. It really kills us all, and so many other changes that might apply. Regulation can affect us, But the good news in Texas, things are getting better, and it's more opportunities for all of us. This takes me to another tool that I want to share with you. It's really simple. We already do it every day, the Eisenhower Matrix. Focus on your cash cow. What do you need to do now? Forget about your Facebook, your email, your social media, your newsletter. Focus about what you need to do. Write down your 3 goals, your priorities. 5 company. That's my 5 target company. Brush up on their, industry standards, their 10K report if they're public. Read about their SWOT analysis, their organization chart, their project if they publish. Then your resume should match this, their objective, job description, and so many things. That's really your do it now thing. Anything else is irrelevant, can be delegated, postponed, or can be removed from your plan. That's really what this diagram is all about. Focus on what's relevant, what needs to be done right now. Put it on a schedule. Postit note, Diane, in front of you, create some posted note and create 3 columns. The first one is called Do It Now. This is a dashboard if you think about it, and I'll have a list to do about 6 goals that I need to be doing. Let's put them on schedule. Schedule can be 2 weeks. So in 2 weeks, I have 3 goals that I need to be done. I need to get 5 target companies. I need to speak to 10 people, and I need to get 1 interview by this 2 weeks. Done. Put a timestamp, date and timestamp, and move it. This is an iterative process. Remember, it's a project, continuously changing. So you're continuously looking, updating your resume, your profiles, your cover letters, your references, your positioning, and so forth. This, we're going to talk about your work structure. Think of this like your organization structure, where you start with a CEO or a president or a founder of a business, a startup, entrepreneur, and you go to the next level, which is marketing, engineering, social media, project management, design, and so forth, sales, customer service. Then you break it down. It's like a good example I use for somebody who never used this is a house. You get the footprint, then you get the foundation, build the walls, the roofs, windows, plumbing, electrical, and so forth, utilities. Any questions on this part before we jump to part 3? Let's check the chat. Hopefully I was not going too fast, too slow. I'm not monotone, like going like, we're cruising at 40,000.
What?
Any questions on?
Not a bigger one.
Let's go.
Right, that's what I have.
No questions?
Doesn't look as though there's any questions in the chat.
Perfect. So you got the idea. So we covered strategy. We're really using a framework with 3P, prepare, plan, perform. And we covered some of the tools you use. And next, we're going to talk about the results, your outcome. Your outcome, hopefully, you landed this job interview by next week or 2. Worst case by January, because companies, they want to close this 2021 budget year. So now what you're thinking about is really metrics. Some people, they call them KPIs, key performance indicators, and OKRs, objective key result. Really you put yourself accountable on these results, which means really, where are you now? Where do you want to be? Did I get the 5 companies that I was looking for? Did I brushed up on their industries? Did I understand what they're looking for? Did I get the resume updated, the interviews, and so forth? And put a dashboard on your on your wall that just said, okay, I think I'm on schedule for that company XYZ, and I'm still not sure about the next company, but I'm not gonna focus more on the red one because it's, you know, it's doubt that I might get or might not get it. But don't give up. Be resilient. Focus on closing the deals and don't take no for an answer. Somebody mute your line if you can. Communication, communicate, make some noise internally to your friend, family, words of mouth, made up, and externally to your recruiters like Miles. You know, people know who, they're using social media. Who are you? What is your job title, current job title? What is your future job title? What is your objective? What is your positioning and so forth? Any questions on the result? Remember, this is really telling you how you're doing. You do a checkpoint. How am I doing?
Please mute yourself, whoever is.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's go to this is really my favorite part, part 4, really an application. So here, what I want to do before I start is I want you to think about, write down if you want to share, that would be awesome. If you want to share with us, what is your purpose? What is your goal of, what are your goals and objectives of the job you're looking for? Put it in the chat. And we're going to do an application based on your job title. I already have an idea about Eric and Diane. So please share that with us in the chat. And what is your purpose? And if you really want to share your strategy or your framework, like how you're going to do it. And we'll talk about the result and the application. Use one of the tools. And one of the tools I'll be using is this. And it's really going to help you put everything in one slide, in one diagram, in one Post-it note, starting with the 40,000 feet view, which is really, what is your target job? What do you need to accomplish for each category, for each, you know, levels? And you can like break it down to different level that you can easily determine the time and effort that it would take you to finish, for example, you know, your social media, or finish your artifact, your resume, interviews and cover letters, references, and so forth. And we'll talk about your market research, and you can easily track that, put a timestamp, put a date, put the effort, 5 hours, 10 hours, and you can add those up and you can estimate in 60 hours or in 100 hours or in 20 days or in 10 days, whatever, whatever units you want to use to determine this. And it's going to help you track and put check, and you're done. So let's go through the chat, and I'd like some volunteers. And if anybody volunteers, I guarantee you're going to get my book as long as you give your address to Shannon, and you get one of my books with some resources.
Who volunteers?
I think Diane want to say something.
I'll
You're
volunteer. I'm a
ahead.
little bit fuzzy.
Just say it. Just say it.
So I'm looking to shift gears. I want to be doing something that's addressing climate change. And a lot of my background is I'm the go-to person to fix things. So that's basically what I do. I find solutions to problems. It doesn't really matter what format, because I've done it digitally, I've done it tangibly, like in a nuts and bolts sense, but I figure out what that clear space is through all of the parameters or perceived obstacles. That's what I do. So I've come from a nonprofit clinic setting, and I want to go into something that's addressing climate change because I'm a cause-driven person.
Wonderful. So I didn't know who was speaking because
My name is Vanessa.
Vanessa. So that's really great purpose. And just so you know, Tesla I think it's moving their headquarters to Austin. So that could be aligned with, you could fit right in into that tribe of green using fully 100% electric vehicles and, for climate change. And really that could be a good place to start. So, but what I would highly recommend that you find a job title that would fit you with the job description. So that's going to fall into that, market research, brainstorming about, what is that job title that would fit you, along with the job descriptions, along with the job requirement that's going to fit you. So remember, your research is going to take a while. Once you get that, you'll be speaking that 2 minutes elevator pitch. You're ready to go with your positioning statement and with your, I haven't talked about exit statement, but I'll talk about it. That would be another question for you. So anybody else? So the purpose, but how you're going to do it is using the framework. Like you got to be determined, find out the requirements, like using some of the tools, prepare, plan, perform, and execute on those. And the result, of course, they're going to be positive. Landing some interviews, closing the deal, be part of that tribe, know more about what they do, whatever that organization does, read their newsletters, their articles, their challenges, their 10K reports, know more about their organization chart, talk to their people that work there. It's so easy to connect. Hey, I need your advice. Can you help me? I want to know more about your company. I really don't tell them you're looking for a job. Just connect first. I need your advice. That's it. The rest is history. Vanessa, does that help?
Yeah, thank you.
Anybody else?
I have a question actually.
Okay, yeah, please. Who's speaking, please?
This is Eric.
Eric, yes. Eric,
Yeah.
you should tell me your purpose before you tell me your question.
Okay.
Because you already know your purpose. I know that. There is no question about it. And you're
Yeah.
gonna find a job. There's no
Yeah,
question
thank
about
you.
it.
Well, I'll do my purpose first. So since I'm just starting out my career, I definitely want to work for a company that will help me grow my skills as a project management specialist or a software developer. And
Okay, pick one.
I guess project management stands out to me a little more. And
I would start with software developer. Here's
yeah,
why. Because
okay.
that's gonna take you, once you become a software developer, that would take you to the path, the personal professional path to become a scrum master, a product owner, then to product manager, project manager, and so forth.
Okay.
Whatever it is, that's going to take you in that really path. The software developer, you're going to learn a lot. And that's really, I would highly recommend that you work with Shannon on that project manager gig, because you're going to interact with the software developer and understand what he does. Find out what exactly he's going to do. That's learning on a job. That's going to go on your resume tomorrow. That's
Right.
it. You already have a job.
Mhm.
You're not looking. The only difference is you're not getting paid. Who cares? You're going to get paid. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So your
Yeah,
purpose,
for sure.
don't get, I've seen people, I'll give you an example. Product manager, there are not many product managers. Product manager, they hire you. You have to have been a software developer with the company for many years, or been with the company before they move you to product manager. Occasionally, there are some product managers that get hired externally, but in general, they would hire you from internally because they know you know the process from start to finish. You've been developers, you've been working a lot of hours, understand the business and so forth. So I think that's really a good place to start. So your purpose is you want to work for a lot of companies that have product management or project management software. They're really great companies. You're going to work yourself out. You're going to get you're going to be drinking from the fire hose, and you're going to be really improving and growing and so forth. A lot of startups, they have you do everything.
Mhm.
They don't care about your title. That's startups and entrepreneurship. They have you do engineering, they do sales, marketing, software development, and you learn. But in a lot of companies, they get you into that path toward that, becoming a software developer. Then you become a lead, then scrum master, product owner, product manager, then, project manager, whatever title they use for their organization. So what is your question?
Yeah. So I guess it's kind of like back to the planning phase, but technically throughout all these 3 steps, how many jobs or companies do you recommend working on at the same time period? At any given time, how many jobs or companies do you recommend us to be like working with and trying to get into at this any given time?
That's a good question. Hold on to that question because I'm going to address it on the next slide. Anybody else has any questions? Anybody has the purpose you want to share? Let's move on. I don't think we have enough time. So let's move on. So a house, I gave you an example. So let's think about this, new job. Eric, let's think about software developer, right? So I would do a research. Diane or Vanessa, research, market research, Google, internet. Back in days, I didn't have the internet. Is everything. So be aware, there's like a lot of information out there. So make sure you go to the right website, good articles, good newsletters, good chapters, good associations, specific to your organizations. If it's a nonprofit, for profit, if it's for green, sustainable energy, if it's education, if it's for project program management, if it's software development, IT, telecom, construction, you name it, oil and gas, so many, be specific. Libraries, it's a huge. If Round Rock, go to the library. They have a lot of resources. You can get a free membership to LinkedIn. You can get great librarians. They know more than what you think. I have a lot of librarians friends that I go to, and they help me with a lot of great research. They save you time instead of just getting lost on the World Wide Web. They'll take you to the right places. There are a lot of good database, research database that'll give you information. Like Gartner, there is a version of Gartner's that are free that the library use that'll give you a lot of information about some public and some private companies. They'll tell you everything you need about that company, what they do, how long they've been in business, what are their SWOT analysis, what are their market, their org chart, everything you need to know. And market research. Understand if I'm doing climate change, I need to know about, more about that environment, right? Sustainable energies and, education, construction, software development, IT, and so forth. Artifact, like we talked about, you already know, your resume is one of them. Your resume should be a dynamic document. It's got to change based on each job description, based on each company, Eric. So I'm going to address your questions in this example. The job description should fit your resume's positioning, your experiences, your summaries, your examples of project that you worked on. So a leap of success, you can mention, well, I worked with in the software development project. The project lasted about 2 months. We did a web development for a small companies, XYZ. We had the requirement, the landing page. We did, you can go on that you show them that you already know what you're talking about when you talk about software. What are some of the challenges they can ask you about that? And your cover letters, there are so many, and your interview skill set, and I put CL and references. So references, make sure you have that. cover letters is that CL stand for, and resume, CV, and so forth. The next thing you want to talk about here is basically your objective. Like I'm looking for a software developer with small or medium or large companies in the, which industry you're looking for. Automotive, that depends on which company you apply for. If it's GM, Ford, Tesla, if you're applying for education, in education sector. So positioning. So that's really project management professional with 20 years experience. Exit statement. This is a question I want you to write maybe in the chat. The question to the exit statement, you should already have it pre-scripted before going to interview. They're going to ask you, Diane, Eric, what happened? Why are you looking for a job? Be prepared to answer that question. And don't be bad-mouthing your ex-boss or your last companies. Well, my boss laid me off because he was this and that. No, you got to be positive and objective. What happened? Why are you looking for a job? That is your exit statement. Should be already pre-scripted. Anybody want to take a shot at this one? What happened?
I have a question on this because, in the last couple of years, since I've created my own business, but it isn't one that's it's set up to, it's not going to sustain me for full time to ready for my retirement, right? So, putting those last 2 years of having my own business that I still want to continue on the side, putting that in perspective to an employer to like fill that gap, if you will. I've never had gaps in any of the rest of my career, but now it looks like I do. Does that make sense?
That's a good question. So Diane, what happened before you started your own business?
So I worked for a nonprofit that closed down, lost funding and closed down.
How long you worked for that nonprofit?
That was 3 years. But I've never had any gaps.
How many? How many years?
I worked for them for 3 years.
Perfect. So your exit statement should be like this. My nonprofit XYZ had to downsize or shut down because of bad economy. And as a result, 300 position or 10 position got affected. And I was one of them. That's it.
But what about addressing having my own business?
Hold on. That's step one.
Okay.
Then you can say, well, I got, 10 position, 5 position, however many people got laid off. 5 people got laid off as a result. And I was one of them. You take a lot of questions when you go that route. They're not going to ask you more about that, what happened. Then while I was looking, I started my own business on the side. And my own business was this, that. But let me tell you what I can do for you. Because of my experience, I'll be doing this, that. Take them to the now and the future. Don't be dragging yourself in the past. But let me tell you what I can do. I've got 20 years experience that I'm going to use directly for your organization. And this is what I can do. Because you have this and this is what I can adjust. And I go directly to the source, address their problems, their symptoms. You're here to solve their problems, create opportunities. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So be very specific. That's pre-scripted. Companies was downsizing. There was a merger. As a result, 10 people got laid off. My job was affected. But let me tell you what I can do for you, for your organization. Because of my extensive experience in software development, I have worked this, that, and this is what I can do. 1, 2, 3, 4.
So are you saying just kind of glancing over?
Yes.
The last couple of years with my own business?
You want to take them to what you can do for them. They don't care about your business. And
Right.
Loyalty was things in the past. People, they need somebody who can do the job. They are team players. They are fun to work with. There's no loyalty. People used to work 20 years and 30 years and retired, and not anymore. People work two years, 3 years, they go to the next job. 2 3 years ago, the next job. You know, that's it. Any other questions? Marketing. Remember, we talked about branding, right? Marketing is huge. Social media, we talk about that. Positioning, exit, and your network. Network is huge. The good news, you live in Austin. There are so many, Elizabeth Dahan and Job Seeker Network, Hire Texas, Launchpad, so many opportunities out in Austin. Take advantage of them. You know, you got to be out there swinging and getting a status update every week. Remember that dashboard, you know, green, yellow, and red. Eric, you have to pick your battle. Your target company should be 5. You know, don't use FANG. You don't want to work for, you know, FANG is Facebook, Apple, Google, Amazon, and Netflix. Those will take forever and they'll require a lot of extensive interviews. But pick your battle, pick a small companies that are friendly. Start with, get some experience first. Be out there. So your resume, your cover letter should be aligned with your social media. If I look up your LinkedIn profile, Eric or Diane should be aligned with your resume. I should have a clear communicated message that says, Eric is a software developer looking for a software development job. And here is his resume, here is his experience, his education, his testimonial, and so forth. Simple as that. Same thing with you, Diane. Your resume should be a copy of your LinkedIn. Same message. So putting it all together, we talk about your purpose, the why, your strategies, the steps, prepare, plan, perform, your outcome, the result, you land your job application. We did one, and I hope it helped clear up, you know, using some of the tools that you can use. And really focus and on growing. There are a lot of challenges, you know, grow. You are the CEO of your business, of your project, of your job search. It's a project. You can have a mini project that can say, Eric, I got to find a job before the end of 2021. That's it. That's your timeline. Then you're willing to work 60 hours a week. Go get it. Don't take no for an answer. And the best way to predict the future is to create it.